No, today we shall be looking at the agricultural climate, and most especially when it has to do with the annual agricultural summit that just took place here in Abuja, and where is the stakeholders coming together to be able to chart a way forward on how they can resolve the issue of the inflation in terms of the cost of agric produce, and also how to make sure that, yes, beyond the issue of inflation is the issue of food security or food insecurity, as the case it may be. And you know, Nigeria has been facing this particular issue for some time now. How can they be able to resolve it? The Middle Belt, for instance, where we have Benue State, for instance, as the food basket of the nation, on several counts have so many issues, most especially that has to do with communal clash, herders farmers clash, and then several issues. And this has actually affected the level of productivity of the farmers in that particular zone. Not just the Middle Belt, even in the Northeast and the Northwest, every region has a story to tell. If you move back to the South, in the Southeast, there are difficulties with respect to the IPOB attack on some of the farmers and even the residents in that particular area. So these are critical issues that we always need to beam our light on in order for us to be able to chart a new course for the success of agric in this particular country. And just a little bit of the snippet here. Nigeria is facing a worsening food insecurity crisis driven by complex mix of factors, which include population growth, conflict, climate change, and economic instability. The country, with its rapidly increasing population, struggles to meet the demands for food production. The Nigeria's agricultural sector, historically an economic backbone, now faces significant challenges that hamper productivity. Farmers, especially those in the North and Middle Belt regions, confront the dual threat of climate-related issues and the escalating violence and harm group which disrupt farming activities and access to farmland. This has resulted in lower crop yields, contributing to the nation's growing food shortage. Insecurity in rural areas also exacerbates food shortages as communities are displaced and forced to abandon their farms, further reducing local food production. So these are the major issues that has actually hampered on the productive level of our farmers this particular day. But then one state is actually trying as much as possible to turn the tide, and that's Niger State. For many who have seen the activities going on in Niger State, you know, yes, this is a governor that has actually shown pragmatism in terms of food security, and we hope that other states can actually take a toll from what is happening in Niger State. So today our guest will be Ajibade Tomiwa. He's here in the studio, and Ajide Tomiwa, who is here in the studio with us, is an agricultural consultant and also part of the agricultural summit in Abuja. Will be giving us details of the summit and the way forward. So we'll go on this short break, and when we return, we continue with the conversation.
Mr. President, last Saturday, the country which I have the honor to represent, the Federation of Nigeria, became independent and assumed the rights and the responsibilities of a sovereign state. Today, Nigeria has been admitted into the United Nations organization and assumes still more responsibilities. I wish to make our position plain beyond any matter of doubt as regards the African continent. We in Nigeria appreciate the advantages which the size of our country and of its population give us, but we have absolutely no aggressive intentions. We shall never impose ourselves upon any other country and shall treat every African territory, big or small, as our equal, because we honestly feel that it is only on that basis of equality that peace can be maintained in our continent. We in Nigeria are a populous country. There are about 40 million of us, and our territory is relatively large. We are willing to learn before we rush into the field of international politics. But we are totally unwilling to be diverted from the ideals which we think true. That is the reason, Mr. President, why we in Nigeria shall not be found to align ourselves as a matter of routine with any particular bloc. Indeed, I hate the very idea of blocs existing at all in the United Nations. It seems to me to be a contradiction in terms. When we hear the world crying out for peace, we may receive the inspiration to deal with these intractable problems and be able really to devote all our resources to the long utterly forgotten the President.
Welcome back from that mild break, and just before the break we were having conversation behind the scene with regards to how states or how other nations are actually faring in terms of food security. And let me bring you back, Mr. Ajide. Good afternoon, and welcome to the afternoon edition.
Thank you very much.
It's nice having you on this program today because just yesterday the annual agricultural summit came to an end, and so many stakeholders were there during the program. What's your view about the program itself?
Yeah, the program is a very technical and impactful one, because when I got there, I discovered that this is not just a gathering of come to talk. There are actions being taken to ensure that the problem generally faced all over the world, not peculiar to Africa, is being overcome. And how do we do that? What are the things we discussed? When we are out of that, how do we manage it? So what are the things that we discuss? What are the prospects? What are the things that we discuss? What are the engagement, both from the government, the policy making, individual, corporate bodies? So we see how we can align together and manage ourselves as a nation efficiently, the Africa continent efficiently, then making the top for the world.
Okay, that's a very good one. But then, with all these things you guys have discussed, what is the way forward? What are the actual things you guys discussed?
Okay. One of the main points is agri-finance, land tenure system, and climate change. Then we also discussed about the soil fertilities, how to get quality seed for farmers. Then managing farmers, as we all know, that small-scale farmers are the major brain box behind our food production in Nigeria. So how do we totally include them, get them more inclusive into the programs of government, of state, of local government, as the case may be? So these are the things that we see. And how do we do this? Number one, climate change is come, or has come, and we can't shy away from it. So the actions the government have been taking in terms of policies, we see that our government are really trying. Not that they are folding their hands. No. They are making efforts. The representative of government that came around told us how they've gone, what they've done in decision making, and ensuring that states are aware what to do, what are the peculiarity of crops that are produced in each state, what are the needed actions that can be taken so that they can ensure productivity. So these are the things that this man came on board and told us, and we see that there is good actions from them. So how can the state now harmonize it to make it a practical this thing? So we have many states in the gathering. We have Kwara State, we have Niger State, we have Kogi State, we have Benue State, which were well represented, and then we have Kaduna, and many other states that are there. And we see their collective efforts too, to make sure that this thing has come, and then we all face the challenge and we overcome it.
Okay, that's a very good one. You mentioned earlier the issue of climate change.
Yes.
Let me say, before we even move into climate change in detail, looking at what had been done in the past, we see at a particular point in time, we saw farmers coming out en masse to go to their farmland, to harvest what they have and sell. And then we also saw a particular situation where after harvest, you see some of our produce even going out of the country at a particular point in time. Within the last 1-2 years, has anything actually changed? Because that aggressiveness we saw is no longer there.
Yes, there are changes. And we know we have the issue of insecurity in the country. That's the major reason that makes things change. You see, farmers that let's take for instance Niger State and Benue State, and we all know that Benue is the food basket of the nation. See the way farming activity is being done before, where you go to local areas, you see farmer clustered in production of rice, cassava, and the likes, banana, plantains. Can they do that now? No. Many of the areas, there's problem of communal clash. There's problem of S-men. So these are the reasons why there seems to be a shrink in our production. Even up to now, it's still happening. The same in Niger State. For Niger State government, presently now, they are really trying. Because when they are doing the exhibition yesterday and I see what they've done, oh, what? I was really surprised. So there is a way forward. Although the challenges are there, but we can overcome them.
Okay, you said there's a way forward. I'm looking at, because I think one of the best things that has ever come into agriculture is the issue of mechanization, using industrial machine to actually put into more efforts in terms of your farm activities and the rest of it. Do you think we've actually gotten to that particular point? Do we have enough of these facilities on ground, and are we deploying it as expected?
And agriculture, is divided into two. We have commercial farming, then we have subsistence farming. Most times, commercial farmers are those ones that are in need of machineries, tractors, plower, harvesters, and the likes. Is it available? Yes, it is available to some extent. But the efficiency of production of some of these large-scale farmers, when they produce, their interest is to maximize profit. Are you getting it now? So they are not actually concerned with the masses. It's owned by individual. It's not government. And maybe we'll come back to that later. I want government to be strategically positioned when it comes to agriculture. There are some ministries or there are some parastatals that can partner with agriculture. Bring the youth, as they say, Gensiba, bring them together into your ministry, into your parastatal. Let them get engaged. So therefore, the commercial production will be enhanced. Like, let me say, this Nigerian Correctional Services, they can create a platform for the youth. They have what it takes. Bring the youth on board. Create a section that these are agricultural. I don't want to open up some things, but there are some things they have the capacity of doing that can help our agricultural
production. It is good you open it up, because the government actually listens to this particular program, and they get idea on how they can actually move some of their policies. Now that you've raised the issue of the Nigerian Correctional Service, that's the NCS, formerly known as Nigerian Prison Service, we understand that so many youth, probably those ones that are there, are actually not being engaged fully. Yes. And I think that's the route. Yes. You can please enlighten us on that. Okay,
thank you very much. You see, the ministry, that parastatal, if they are serious about agricultural production in Nigeria, I can tell you that they are enough to feed the whole nation. Because citing them in all states, I hope you are aware that in all states, and they have masses of land allocated to them in one way or the other. And even if they don't have, if they make the demand, willingly they will get it. So instead of just keeping these people, saying let them engage them, let there be productivity from them. Don't make them useless. I guess provide the at least you, federal government, provide the machinery, put a watch. Let's see what comes from there. I get it, so that we will not be wasting our resources. These people just leave that place, come to the town, useless. I guess the same thing with Nigerian, what do you call it? This civil defense. They can also do the same. Look at our graduates from agriculture in all universities. Yesterday in the gathering, one young man was there from Landmark University, and he was like, we are not feeling the impact of government as a student. They will just go to class, read book, after them graduate, and then go to the street looking for a job. In fact, some of their colleagues look down on them that you are just agricultural student, you don't have anything to offer. I say, what? No, I know. I think my host to know where you came from ABU. You can't come from ABU studio as a student and say you don't know what to do, because right from the school, you know how you are being taught, you are being engaged as a master student right back then. So. Immediately leaving that place, we are able to engage ourselves because we know the job is not on ground and nobody is ready to give you anything. So you have to put your hands to work. We look dirty, but we thank God today. So the same thing can be done for our students. Let them see the essence of going to school. Let them add value to them while they are still in school. So through this method, I believe those commercial areas can be enhanced. And then coming back to the subsistence, the household farming. You see, most of our families, women participation in agriculture is major. Because, let me say for livestock now, if you go to many families, women are the ones that take care of all these things like chicken, goat, and animals, all these things, you see them there. Maybe they come back from work, say, where's my chicken? Let me do. You see them trying to make sure that at least as we are going to work December, some of this I'm not going to buy chicken this year, it's going to be expensive. They are doing it by themselves at home. So the government should enhance these people by providing them a cheaper rate of getting their chicks, feed, drugs for their vaccine, and all these things. Through that, they will support the household farming, the subsistence one, so that everybody will feel fine.
I used to say, with the recency of this particular leadership now that we have in the country, when you say the support, are they not giving the same support you guys are expecting them to give? No.
We don't. In fact, I won't see. Let me just say kudos to the present governor of Kogi State. I see what he's doing because I engaged some of the participants from the Kogi State yesterday, and we talk a lot, and I see the involvement of the youth, how they are being given grants to do farming, so some of them still came back and said, if this thing can be replicated in some other states, there is going to be a leverage of comfortability. But now it's only in Kogi State. Once this farmer produce these things, where will they sell it to? They sell it to other states. Because in the same state, everybody is doing the same thing. When they sell it to other states, the cost of transportation, are you getting it? The risk of transportation and some other factor make the things produced by them to be, the price is high. So you see still that we need the government involvement to make things more easier for the people, which is not there.
Now that we have, you've mentioned the issue of support or grants to farmers, smallholders farmers. But then there is one key aspect of it that how can the smallholders farmer be supported to adopt sustainable practice?
It's by using cluster. Is it gone at those days that you just throw money into the ocean? No. This agriculture is a way of life, just as we are living. We are life. Agriculture is life. In as much as we live as human beings, agriculture is with us. You see, these people are not ghosts. You can see who you are dealing with. Go to the villages through the local government. Are you getting it? Get farmers. Ask for the farmer. Tell them what is their practice in this particular. Don't tell them what they don't do. Don't ask for what they don't. Ask them what do they do. Then from there, try to encourage what they do. They don't even need much. A typical local farmer in where I come from, like Kuje area, they don't need much. What they need that, okay, this is what I do. Okay, I can support you with this. I will be surprised what such person will do with the little you are giving unto him. But now if you fold your hands and say, we have a problem, everything is expensive. A day-old chicks of yesterday now is around 1,900.
Just one?
Just one. You can confirm, just one. How many farmers can keep 200? How many farmers can keep 100? Let me just say 100. How many farmers can do that? So we will still, the involvement of government must be serious. They must tackle, there's something missing. And I told you earlier on, something that I think is missing. It's not that our government are not trying, but there's no synergy. They don't put effort together. They seem to be isolated. And we can't achieve anything like that as a nation. Let them come together. Where do you stop? Okay, what program do you have? Who are the target audience? Okay, this is how we do it. Then we start to execute it gradually. Don't go too far. Start gradually and see what comes from it.
But at some point also, you also discover that even government at some point had actually raised critical issues. That I remember during the time of the former president, when he had rolled out all these agricultural plans, people were actually collecting money from some of these banks that the foreign government made them available to dispense cash. And at the end of the day, you discover that they cannot actually pay back this particular money that was given to them. That's one. Number two, for those who are into full-blown commercial services or farming, you discover that after the harvest, they quickly take it through the other neighboring countries, and then they sell it in the international market. Whereas we here in Nigeria actually have a problem in terms of food security.
Okay, thank you very much. You see, the first question is not that our farmers are thief. No. It's the government that is not following the right channel. And what's the right channel? Go to this farmer, meet them in cluster. In fact, you can provide the land. You can provide the land for them. Say, okay, this is the land. This is the land. How many farmers want to farm here? Okay, what do you want to do? Okay, we give you this, we give you this, we give you this. Even we help you in marketing. Are you getting it? Then don't just leave them. Try and understand their social needs also. Because some of these farmers too, who doesn't, maybe he doesn't have food at home. He has not paid his children's school fees. And you say, yeah, come and collect 10,000 naira to go and do farming. You see, the first thing we attend to is the school fees of his child, because he knows that he can't. There is no how he will settle down on the farm where their children are crying at home. So you have to. We have to be human in this nation. Let's be sincere to ourselves. When we are rolling out program, look at the A and B. Look at the pro and cons. Okay, this program, what are the things that are going to be the obstacles? It's good to have program, but the execution, the implementation, and the feedback only matters. Past government did their best. They tried to be sincere. For former president Muhammadu Buhari, he really tried. I was part of the enumerators, the enumerated farmers in the local government. That's Kuje. I was the top second best enumerator in the local government. Then I see the joy of participation from the local farmers. She gets it now. But if you don't monitor any program you start or you roll out, it's good. And if you don't follow the right channel, it's not going to work. Include the chiefs, the local chiefs, the village chiefs, the village head. Include them. Include the youth. Don't be saying women and children, women and youth. This thing doesn't make sense. If you are going to focus on women program. If you want to focus on youth, focus on the youth. They are the ones that know the process. You can't be dictating the process for a farmer. Some of them don't go to school. But tell them this is what you want. This is how you can deliver it. I will help you with this. Then they will give you the result. But once you are telling a farmer that have been practicing for like 10 years, and you are now the one teaching him what to do, he won't listen to you. He won't listen to you. And the second one, you see, the production that we're having nowadays from the farm, to be sincere, we are trying. Farmers are trying. Before I used to hear that per hectare we have 1.6 tons. But now
of what produce? Of
maize.
Okay.
But presently, as I'm saying now, there is increase. So some farm in some areas they can produce more than 4 tons per hectare, go to 5, 6 sometimes. So it's not that farmers are relaxing or they are tired. No, but the economy is too hard on them. The cost of fertilizer, the cost of pesticide, the cost of getting a viable seed. Do you know that seed is major in any crops you are planting? If you are planting a wrong seed or you are having a bad seed, no matter your effort, you are not going to get results. These are the challenges. So if a farmer could have gone extra mile to get a seed that's let me say a viable seed for 15,000 naira, and now when the produce come out, he knows that the local farmer you want to buy it or the environment, they are not going to buy at an appreciable cost. And there are some neighboring areas or states or whatever you call it that are ready to buy at a good price. Why not? Why not? Nobody's a fool here.
But don't you think there should be a regulation with respect to how, despite the fact that since we are facing this issue of food insecurity now, don't you think there should be a government policy or regulation that can guide commercial farmers from taking food, not all the produce actually from the farm outside, but at least let them be able to sustain some here in the country?
Yeah, but the question is, what are the government doing about the wastage and the loss that these major farms encounter? You know, there's difference between farm wastage and farm losses. Are you getting it? So if government can give a good policy for those two things, most of these commercial farmers, they are ready to be coherent with the states, with the environment they find themselves, And even with their strategy, as the case may be. But if not, these two things, the wastage and the losses, if not well taken care of, no, I don't think there's any commercial farm that will listen to anybody.
Now, the private sector, just like you've mentioned, the private sector, do you think they've done much in agric?
Oh, yes, wonderfully. Can the government run on their own without the private sector? No, it's not possible. The private sector contribution to agriculture, from my own point of view, I think is great. Because Kuje is a very big area that has a lot of villages. Now their harvesting is going on. You need to come around and see what local farmers are producing from their efforts. You will see that there is nothing like what makes us the government. Is it not these individuals? let's be realistic. It's not these individuals. So whether we like it or not, private organization or private sector, they are pillar. And we must give them good consideration in any decision or in policy making.
Okay, thank you so much, Ayajide Tomiwa. We'll be going on a very short break because you've listed so many things here, and I'm happy that you are trying to see how the government can actually do the needful in addressing most of these particular issues. And if all those support are given, definitely the farmers will be able to do more in terms of productivity. That's a very good one. So we'll be going on a very short break now, and when we return, Ajide is still here with us in the studio, and we'll be discussing further on issues that bothers us as Nigerians, most especially how can the farmers be resilient in this challenging time. So let's go on this break, and when we return, we continue with the conversation.
We are a nation blessed with people of diverse cultures, religions, languages, and opinions. It is ironic that we are now being ripped apart by our greatest strength, our diversity. We have allowed intolerance, insensitivity, bigotry, and nepotism to blind our vision of the greatness we can achieve working together as one. We may not have the same culture, nor religion, nor language, but we all belong to the same nation by the divine will of God. We did not choose to be Nigerians. Nigeria chose us. This nation is our divine heritage, and if we open our eyes, we will realize that what divides us pales in comparison to what unites us. And by the comparison and conciliation of our differences, we will grow until our differences disappear. Our unity cannot be willed by mere declarations, nor do we get unity by ignoring the questions that beg for answers. We must celebrate our diversity and debate our differences without fracturing our unity. Our strength is not in our numbers, but in our unity, because even the weak become strong when united. Nigeria unite.
This message is brought to you by Abuja Broadcasting Corporation, owners and operators of ASO Radio 93.5 FM Abuja, ASO Television DSTV Channel 392, Star Times Terrestrial Channel 127, Free TV Channel 507, People's TV Channel 285, and UHF Channel 38.
Welcome back from that break, and still with us here in the studio is Ajide Tomiwa, discussing issues that has to do with the progress in the agricultural sector, most especially now that we have the Ministry of Livestock Development. Yes, I hope that's correct. And so much is expected of that particular ministry, and also the Minister of Agric, and then we have the Minister of Agric States. There's so many consideration by the President with respect to how they can be able to open up that frontier for agricultural development. But with the recent issues now that we are facing, Mr. Ajide, being a consultant, an agri consultant, you've worked with these people, and this is actually what you actually studied in school. Looking at the situation of things now, how do you view the level of harvest this particular year?
Yeah, thank you very much, my Oga. You see, the problem of harvest, it still boils down on the farmer. We have two types of harvest. We have crops that are perishable. We have crops that are not perishable. Yeah. The problem is, what are the approach to it? And then two things matters to farmers. We have crop wastage and crop losses. These two things differ. Many farmers have the problem of crop wastage, especially during harvest. Crop wastage, how can we minimize it? Because, like grains, a farmer that has 4 hectares of farmland of corn, and during the harvest, he harvested most produce are lost or are waste during the process of during the processing stage. In this stage, can the government or can there be a way of helping the farmers? Just bring what you produce. Let us help you to manage it. She get it now. Okay, bring the produce. Let us help you. That one will take us to value adding. Because not natural. But how can we minimize this wastage? And that's what I'm trying to say now. Come to the farmers, educate them a little bit about, see what you are doing. You see your effort, but see what you are bringing out. But what if you do it like this? See what we get. Like if you say harvesting, when you harvest corn, you now go to deshelling. After deshelling, you go to threshing. After the threshing it, we go to winnowing. After winnowing, we'll be talking of bagging. After bagging, we'll be talking of putting chemical for preservation. Then for storage. These stages, many farmers don't understand this. So I've been to a local farmer who told me that immediately after deshelling the bag, you know that's very wrong, because within 2 months maximally, you see weevil entering the bag. So there's our extension agents, and I don't think the government have to do more. The youth are there, the Gen Zs, these Nigerians, we are so blessed. Engage these people. Let there be a platform for them to express what our youth are so talented. Our youth are so, there is motivation within them. They just need a little push. I get it. Then when it comes to losses, oh my God, that one has to do with much of perishable goods. Everything like our vegetables. Then what can be done to that? Then thank God, like in Niger State, I've heard where they go to the local farmers to carry their tomatoes in Kaduna, in Kano. They help them to process it to avoid losses. So government are doing something, but there is still room for more. There is still a long way to go, because right now, if you ask me to tell about the government performance in that area, I can just say let's say 2%. So there's still a lot to be done in that area.
Okay. Earlier on, there was this issue that was raised in one of the conference I attended, and it has to do with the drought season now that we are facing. How does this actually affect the agricultural security itself?
Oh, thank you very much. You see, the drought season differs in some places. No, Nigeria is divided into 6 geographical zones. Yeah. So the way we have drought season differs. In some area, the drought season seems to be longer than the rain-fed season. And in such areas, in fact, these are the things I want our government to look into. I want individuals also to sit down and brainstorm about it. In those areas where we have longer rain drought, that's dry season, what are the programs on ground for the people to engage in irrigation farming? Because I can see hunger coming. I can see hunger coming seriously. Then maybe that's the government will now, our eyes all now will now focus on agriculture. Technology is good. Agriculture is in technology. Whatsoever science, whatsoever is in agriculture. So you looking off agriculture or taking agriculture as a second option, I think it's not the best. So what are they doing now? Are you supplying solar pump to the farmers? Are you gathering farmers in cluster now in preparation for the drought season? What are the seeds that are being given to the farmers? Because there was a question during the program that a farmer was saying and they don't want GMO seed. GMO is this, is this, is this. Then when I said that, I was just laughing. So these people don't even know that there is a difference between GMO and GM seed. GM seed and GMO, they are different. The production of GMO himself is a process different that is from anything you call seed. Do you know what it takes to grow seed? Do you know what the long period you face to harvest what you say and you want to eat, and you say somebody want to kill you because is giving you GMO seed? How can we be reason like that in this generation? It's not right. The areas of land that we have now, we have to be proactive to manage it very well, to plant the right thing at the right time with the right management, so that we can have increase in production. Enough of, yes, there is bandit, yes, there is S-men, yes, there is this and this, but the one that we have, if we have been producing at 1% before, how can we increase it to 3%? How can we increase it to 4%? That's how to tackle the issues.
So and you believe the GMO product, GM seeds are the best for this? Of
course. Which countries are not planting GM seeds? Tell me, that can maintain the current situation of the world. Tell me one country that's not using GM seed. Even most people that are against these GM seeds, they fail to understand that most of the drugs they are taking. Who tells them that these things are not inclusive? Let's be realistic, man. We can't be fighting the wind and be saying we are making progress. No. We should be realistic. Okay, do you want more education on it? If it is more enlightenment that they want, let them tell the people. Then we will be enlightened. There are people like me. We have several people like me on ground that can educate people on these things. There's nothing bad in GM seeds. No. Nobody is killing anybody. No.
The fear of, people say the fear of cancer, the rest.
Which cancer?
Yes.
Which cancer?
Because these are the questions that people actually.
No. Cancer don't happen like that. Do you know that I did watching your health status, your family histories? We should start meddling things together because of his sincerity. No. Agriculture is God's way of preserving human being. And if God had given us that way, we should not be wiser than God. Yes, we should not be wiser than God, please.
Okay, I'm still on the issue of the climate change now. There are so many, I know so many researchers who have actually raised critical concern that instead of having just one farming season in a year, in some places, like in the FCT, I know sometimes we do have two. Well, fortunately, this time around, you can see that we're expecting the rain to actually still be around.
Yes.
You discover that it has actually receded. So how can we take advantage of this early planting season in the year so that we can be able to prepare ahead of time?
Thank you very much. So that goes to, or remind me of my research program during my master's degree in ABU. So we work supervised by Professor Donze and my Professor Aisha and Professor Alima and ABU Soil Science Department. You see, I work on planting dates, some selected cover crops, and the effect of climate change. You see, if farmers are able to go to farm on time and they're able to produce more than once in a particular season, they are going to have more produce than only producing once. I planted 3 times. Yes.
Planted 3 times?
Yes, during my master's degree. I planted 3 times. I have different planting days, 3 different planting days. And all of them did well. Yes. What we actually need is support, is enlightenment, is encouragement, is don't look down on anyone. Is a farmer, but do you know you depend on a farmer? Because you are a doctor, that doesn't mean other people are fool. Because you are an engineer, that doesn't mean agricultural student or someone practicing agriculture is a moron. No. What we need is give them the necessary support. Let them have value for. To me, I rate people in the village sometimes higher than we so-called the white collar, also we call it. No, because what they do, most of them they can't do it. So if farmers are able to plant on time, they listen to instruction from NIMET, They listen to instruction from FAO. They listen to instruction from Agricultural Research Institute, the one in Zaria. They listen to the predictions every year, and they follow. Why are we not going to have good produce? Why are we not going to be having large productions? If there is technical backup, if there is all hands are on deck, we can solve all this hunger that we are looking at, that's facing us. We can overcome it.
But don't you think one of the critical aspects of all this is that sometimes even the farmers are not even aware of the changing weather situation, and that actually is a major gap for them in order for them to be able to prepare properly for the year. I know NIMET do actually release data with respect to the weather condition and the rest of it, probably before even the season of planting. But then you still know that this technology that we make use of today have not actually gotten that deep into the society. Yes, people can make 1 or 2 calls, but do they actually have applications where they can actually view some of these things, and also usable applications, not just applications that is so technical for them not to use? And number 2, you mentioned earlier the issue of extension services. Do we have them in abundance rendering these services?
Thank you very much. Let me start from the last question. You see, the extension services that we have, I won't say we don't have it, but their impact is not yet feasible enough. I won't say, because I heard of agricultural development program in all local governments. In all local governments, I've heard about that. But can they be more empowered? Let's put more people there. What if when you go to some local government and you're hearing that they have just 5 extension agents for agriculture? Does that make sense? No. You say, engage people. Let people go and sensitize people about this, how to have more produce. If I'm doing something and I'm getting 2%, and you come and tell me, Mr. Ajide, if you are doing this, you can get 10%. Won't I follow your instruction? I will. That's what we need.
Oh, that's very critical, and thank you so much, Mr. Ajide Tomiwa, for being part of the program today. You've enlightened us so much, and it actually shows that there are so much that can be gotten with even the land we are making use of, apparently,
yes.
Despite the insecurity that we are facing.
Yes.
If we can maximize the use of seed technology,
yes.
it will go far
yes.
in ameliorating the issue of food insecurity.
Yes.
Thank you so much once more, Ajide Tomiwa, for joining us today. It's a very beautiful conversation we are having with Mr. Ajide Tomiwa, and on several counts, we've actually pushed for this narrative to see that, yes, there are so much we can do despite our challenge, and we shouldn't lose hope. We have the best in terms of agricultural land in the world. We still have so many professionals in that particular aspect that also help to see that, yes, at the end of the day, as a farmer, as an investor in this agric business, you don't actually lose. At the end of the day, you are helping the people, you are feeding the nation. My name is Isanu. Have a wonderful day and stay blessed.